Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all depending on when you're watching this video. I'm your co-host, Irving Perez, and I'm joined by our host, Aaron Lloyd. And thank you for joining our Fiber Nerds podcast, episode 3. Yeah.
3, finally.
Finally, I want to apologize, first and foremost, for such a long hiatus. It was not our initial intentions to take so long to put out content. We actually had a very rigorous schedule when we initially started this with plenty of content to supply you guys with. But as you all know, life does happen, and it happens pretty fast and hard. So we had some major changes over the last couple of, 2 months?
Yeah, about 2 months.
About 2 months or so. Yeah. So we just wanted to sort of go over what's been going on, why we haven't put out content, and what's in store, obviously after this, and what to sort of look forward to as we move on from our sort of break. For most of you that don't know, me and Aaron are colleagues. We do work together. We, what is it? Let me see. Yeah. We do work together. He's, my manager, supervisor for the majority of my tenure, working in telecommunications for the company that we worked for. And we've had some big career shifts, I would say, over the last 2 months. A lot of deciding, a lot of decision making that had to go into not only personally for each one of us, but as well, together what we plan on doing moving forward, not only with Telecom Craft, but any other projects we had in because he is my mentor, I'm his mentee, student and teacher, we go hand in hand. But yeah, I don't know if you wanted to start off with sort of what's been going on over the last 2 months with us, Aaron.
Yeah, I can take a shot at it. So, in a nutshell, we've transitioned to a new company, and it's very exciting. We have the opportunity to continue working together, which is awesome, and to further advance ourselves in the field professionally, and take on bigger roles for bigger projects. And I think there's a lot of great possibilities now on our plates, and it just took a while to get everything everything fell in place. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of what we were focused on, both day and night, was making sure that the transition to the new company, to our new roles, and everything that's involved in that went smoothly. So that's the nutshell.
Yeah, that's literally
a lot of time on all the details. And then so as part of that, both for you and me, it's also kind of retooling in a lot of ways into our new roles, and spending more time off hours getting prepared for those roles, right?
Yeah, it's a completely different shift. As when we initially started this podcast, fiber nerds, we're still fiber nerds. That's not going to change always. But even in our career, on our everyday, jobs, fiber was the main focus. We were designing fiber plant, troubleshooting fiber, all the things that encompassed it. And now, at least for me personally, I sort of had to look at my profession and see where exactly I wanted to go with my career. Do I stick to, just fiber design and try to find the pinnacle of what that sort of is in that career path? Or do I sort of dabble in and sort of introduce sort of these new topics or new domains that I've wanted to tap into, like information security, networking, route switching, wireless even. There's a whole bunch of other domains that, even for me, my personal interest, are definitely peaked. And I was at a position where it's either I continue down one path or start a new one. Mm-hmm. And especially even with me, I'm, like I said before in the other episodes, I'm currently going to school to get my associates in computer networking technology. So I was taking courses over the summer, specifically a security course, which I would love to sort of break down for you guys at a later video, just the importance of what information security is and cybersecurity. But I was at a point where I had to decide, what do I want to do?
Right.
Do I continue down this path? Do I take this new route? And in taking that new route, what is that going to look like? What tools, like Aaron said, we sort of had to retool. What do I need? What tools can already be sort of, used for this new path? And to be honest, I sort of stepped back and I was like, all right, if I'm going to take down this new path, I'm going to need a lot more tools. And sort of, started planning out my educational and training path program over the last couple of months while I was doing school and working on this transition to our new company. Because we're diving into ITC, as we talked, the telecom craft. We're really diving into all aspects of what telecom is now, not only as a personal interest in our hobby and, the way we try to teach and show the world, parts of our, our craft or our, I don't know how to say too much really, but
Well, just our trade.
yeah, our trade. That's the word I was looking for. To actually apply it to our everyday, and what is that looking like? And at least for me personally, as I'm still growing within the field, like there was a lot of things that I had to refresh myself on. There's a lot of things that I had to make myself familiar with, over the last couple of weeks that would needed to take time to be able to function properly in the everyday tasks that I had. So yeah, it's been a crazy little ride, but super excited to be able to now not only show you guys what we're able to do as far as our skills, our talents, and be able to speak about these things openly with all of you, but to hopefully inspire you guys as well. If you're on one path, that there are many other options that you can go down. Whatever interests you, whatever piques the mind or your curiosity, that you can build a program or a foundation to get good at that and to push into that profession if need be, that you're not just stagnated in the one spot just because you are skilled in that. Like there are a lot of transitory professions that you can take those skills to. And that's sort of what we're doing here. That's sort of what we're doing here, especially with our the new company that we moved to. It's taking the skill sets that we've learned over the last couple of years, not only individually but together, and being able to apply that now fully. So I'm excited. I'm sure Aaron is excited too.
Yes.
But yeah, it definitely took time. Definitely took time away from us getting the content out to you guys. But at the same time, I say it's definitely reinforcing the stuff that we're going to be showing you guys, and it's just diving into a lot more domains, getting deeper into a lot more stuff. I mean, Aaron's already gone. Don't mention off some deep end. If you mention Proxmox, it's a nonstop conversation. It's his new, not new. I mean, you've always loved Proxmox for a long time now, but with where we're transitioning to, like,
all these our hands. So, I think we've talked maybe once or twice about how, for the most part, you and I in particular, as part of a bigger team, started out very focused on layer one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Actual, particularly outside plant, telecom, fiber-based outside plant for last mile broadband, and that was our thing. That was our thing.
That was
it.
Yeah,
and we had other folks that we relied on for layer 2, layer 3, the stack. Now, I came from layer 7, server, basically like a server admin, software development, that type of thing, and started crawling back up the stack. But then over time, have gotten more hands-on through all the network operations, to the point now where we're everywhere. The fiber, cabling in general, just layer 1 which includes wireless
Yeah.
in a way, and doing some interesting, exciting things with essentially 5G level technology. So that's a new area for us that we're starting to dip our toes into gently for now.
Gently.
Uh,
The water's cold. Water's
yeah,
very cold.
yeah, but route switch. Like, look, I am deep, and we'll talk about this in future episodes a lot. But I am deep into route switch right now. Irvin and I, we got our N pluses about a year ago.
About a year
And
now.
since then I've gotten a bunch of Juniper certs. Now I'm looking into MikroTik. I've always liked ViOS, like routing. Like my goal this year is to really become proficient, particularly in WAN routing, IPv6. The things that I didn't think I would be deep into. I went deep into fiber. Found the most advanced certs that I thought existed, completed them, but then realized that you actually, it's unfortunately there are a few positions where you can focus exclusively on fiber or optical network engineering is the proper term, and we'll talk about that a little bit with the Kona and Cone cert shows. So you got to learn network engineering, and you got to learn system administration and servers, security, as Irving was saying, big pieces of it, automation, all kinds of the different domains, which, are all parts of telecom. Like it's not just, technicians up on the poles or laying conduit in the street and then, pulling cable and then someone else is doing the magic. Like, no, like you can get, deep in all these areas. So, so it's really the last couple of years we've seen our track shift from really wanting to focus on the fiber stuff here exclusively, but career opportunities come up and you transition, but at the same time, and I know Irving, you've seen this a lot, is that the skills that you bring from one field, like you mentioned, they're adjacent to the others, and particularly if you have the ability to shift gears as more of a generalist, which the two of us really are, you can bring that same body of knowledge into from fiber engineering into network engineering, right? Topologies, troubleshooting skills, all these different, the edge of the network, the core of the network, that all translates well, and you can use that to your advantage. So, so I think we'll be bringing just kind of a more multidimensional view of things moving forward as we grow.
Yeah, and that's honestly one thing that I've seen, working in this industry that it sort of lacks between the departments is that,
Yeah.
one is communication. It's unfortunate, but telecommunications seems to have the worst communication between the organizations. But it's that understanding, that basic technical level of understanding of each other's domains to be able to quickly
Yeah.
and efficiently communicate between whomever, the network engineer, fiber designer, to the sysadmin, to whatever it may be,
Sales,
to
whatever. Yeah.
sales. Yeah, it all depends on, can you communicate what you're trying to, the actual information across.
Right.
How efficiently can you do that? How clear can it be? And how quickly can it get done? And I think now that we've sort of shifted tracks and through the motion of all these things, I'm starting to see it a lot clearer now, where that type of generalist skill set
Hmm.
is needed. Granted, you could specialize. If specialists, we need specialists. We always need specialists, but just to have a basic understanding
Right.
of sort of these cross-functional things, it goes a very long way. And especially if you feel like I sort of iterated before, if you're strong in one skill set and you're trying to look to move to another, don't be afraid that you're going to have to learn everything from scratch. Look
No.
at the basics of what you have already have and see what can shift into that new role then you just build on that, and then you next thing you know, you have skill sets in two different things. You're bouncing between the two, seamlessly, without too much issue, and you become, your value increases just that much more, I believe.
That's right.
When you're able to do that, it's like being bilingual,
Yeah, yeah.
That's trilingual, whatever it may be. If you could speak, yeah,
Multilingual.
yeah. If you can speak wireless, route switching, layer 1 to layer 7, up and down the entire stack, you might not know how to do everything, but if you can speak,
you'll never will, even if you specialize. Let's be real.
by the time you learned one, the other thing already advanced like 3 years. So it's like the constant switch. But we're definitely excited to bring our skill sets to where we're going to be at now, and continue to grow them, and to be able to then make content for you guys to learn and grow as well as we continue on, on our journey. That's sort of what's been going on with us, and why we've been away for the last 2 months, maybe a little more.
Yeah.
I don't like talking about it. It makes me,
Thanks everybody. A few people have actually reached out and said, like, hey, like, when's the next episode drop? And we were actually, pleasantly surprised, even
super surprised.
That there were people waiting, and so we appreciate that. That definitely helps to motivate us to move forward.
Keep us accountable.
Please keep us accountable. Keep us up. What you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see, that type of thing. Before we jump into today's topic, I just want to also lay the groundwork that we're going to be branching out too into different topic areas, right? So, we will always be talking about fiber. I guess one of the things I think we joked about a little bit in the first episode is that, if it involves fiber, we're going to talk about it, and obviously every one of the things that we're doing now in some way does. But right now we're kind of on like a track talking about how to get started in the field. So we're going to still be focusing on the topics of becoming a technician, and then moving up into engineering and architect and those types of things, from our own experience doing these things. But then, we're going to start, deep diving into specific technologies, talking about, tech. Still have some product review stuff that we committed to do, and definitely looking forward to doing that. I fixed all my overhead camera stuff and resituated things so I can start doing that again. And we want to bring people on. We've got a lot of excited people who we'd love to get on as guests. And if you know of someone, or you yourself think that you'd love to be on the show, please reach out to us, and let's talk. And I
mean, we could talk to each other forever, but how fun does that get?
Guys. Yes, we understand it. We're viewers ourselves, and we'd love to mix it up for you. But for tonight, though, our topic is to kind of take the next step over from what we talked about in episode 2, which was the Certified Fiber Optic Technician, or CFOT certification from the FOA, the Fiber Optic Association. So if you didn't watch that one, I don't know where I'll put the link, but we will share that, and definitely encourage you to watch that if you're new to this, and if you have not heard, there are additional certifications, kind of we'll call it entry level certifications for telecom technicians. And tonight we'll be talking about the second one from the FOA, and that is the Certified Premises Cabling Technician. Premises is plural, by the way.
Oh, that's I can. Premises.
It's kind of awkward, but that is the way to say it. But the CPCT is another FOA certification, which talks about more of a general,
more general
skills for a technician, and so that's what we're going to cover tonight. So
just again, this is just in addition to our the CFOT what we think goes hand in hand with entry level certs that would definitely help any technician that wants to get into the industry sort of started off. And the CPCT was a interesting one.
Yeah.
I I did the CFOT first, my personal experience, and it was very specialized, very specific, focused on fiber,
Yeah.
and that broke it down tremendously, and I loved it. But the CPCT, the cable premises technician, certified technician, I think I feel like I got the most value out of that one. Even though it's sort of like just a hand-on, I'd sort of just added it on to the CFOT one, just because, especially if you're starting off, especially when it comes to cabling premise, let's say you want to wire up your first, customer or client, and you're the first technician, you have no idea what's going on, you're used to handing tools, you know a little bit about cable, but it's your first job, you know. Out of the two that I would sort of go with first, I would have chosen the CPCT just because it's a general view on
I agree.
how cable premises should be ran, whether raceways, the type of technologies used, troubleshooting for multiple different layer one mediums that are presented within the book. So, even from J hooks and how to design a little bit on the premising side. So it gave me an overall view on what cabling, on a premise should be. As far as, so when it came to like installs or designing or even auditing and troubleshooting a lot of this stuff, it was more, I don't want to say easier, but it was easier to, still said easier, quicker to identify these things. I was more familiarized with the whole rather than just the specified, like sort of how I went through. Like I went fiber first, all fiber first. So I had to learn on the fly on how to, install cables. And once I got my CPCT shortly after, it was like mind blown. Whoa. Like, this is how you run it. Okay, you could use this technique, these standards. This is what I should be following. And then, but what I also noticed was how many, how much of the other sort of presence in a premise don't follow standards and like the hot mess. So
you lift those drop ceiling tiles and you try to look up in there and it's like, oh no.
You think it's like the heaviest insulation of all time, and you're like trying to gently push through, and it's just a mound of cables just laid across, and it's still done.
Wires,
it's still done. Don't think
tools.
It's not done. Tools. Had screwdrivers fall and like cutters and stuff. It's so just to have a general idea of what I should be looking out for, what should I be, sort of, my standards or procedures on just a general installation sort of mentality, went a long way. And when it came down to it, it was like, oh crap, I know how, I can run this cable this way, and now I can terminate it and do the proper, sort of CFOT sort of standard.
The workmanship
towards the end, for the workmanship towards the end. So it's like, I like that workmanship. The CFOT's like the workmanship one.
Yes.
And then CPCT's like just a general. It's hard to describe, but
I think you got a good point there. I if it was up to me, I would recommend everybody to get the CPCT first. Actually,
CPCT.
Because it's more about a primer on becoming a technician, right? In a general sense, and then it even covers. There's a chapter on fiber. If you do the CFOT, you'll recognize a lot of the language in there, but it's just one chapter, right? So then you've also got a chapter on copper cable, twisted pair. You have a chapter on wireless. You got chapters on horizontal cabling, which is its own important thing, and the different types of spaces inside of a building, particularly the MDF, the IDF, the pathways that you'll take, fire stop, like a lot of important skills, general skills that, even if you're just going to focus on fiber, these are must have, kind of foundational skills to know, right? So
I'd
definitely recommended.
Yeah, I'd say if you're pulling
Yeah.
any type of cable anywhere,
Yeah.
if that's going to part of your daily job function or just functionality and tasks in general, I recommend it yeah, highly recommend 110%
Yeah.
for it.
So let's take a closer look at it. So here's the book. Um, you can get it on Amazon and a couple other places. Um, we'll post some links to that. But the main thing I wanted to do was share the FOA site on this, right? So, and again, if you haven't watched our last video on the CFOT, make sure you watch that. That'll give you the overview for the FOA website, the FOA in general, and particularly Fiber U. Fiber University is their free online self-study courses. And the one that we're going to be talking about today is this one here, premises cabling. And this covers, like I said, cabling in general, copper, your different types, including coax, twisted pair, fiber wireless. And so if you click on this premise cabling site, you can get a good summary of everything there. And again, here's the book. You can get the textbook, and there's YouTube videos and things like that. So we're not going to go as deep as we did the last episode for the Fiber U unit, but I just wanted to point this out, and then recommend that you use that as your starting point. The CPCT is its own certification, so like the CFOT, the same recommendations from us for that exam apply as well. And I would take your time with this one. Like, yes, it's a primer, but these are skills that, like, you'll always use. You'll always need to know. So even like I said, if you wanted to just focus on fiber, becoming a good technician, having good workmanship, and understanding the fundamentals of any type of media, really, is only just going to improve the quality of your work, your success as a technician. So yeah, take your time, really absorb the information,
Yeah,
and
and they have plenty of information on there too. You don't have to take the exam and get certified even if you don't want to. You can just go over and use the
yeah,
information as reference,
that's a good point.
because it is a reference guide. So I mean, I still look back at all my reference guides at this point whenever I need to, a quick refresher, or just something I forgot or haven't yet didn't learn or memorize yet, and then boom, there it is. I can go back to it and I can apply it to whatever I need to. So don't feel like you have to be pressured or like, oh, I can only look at it if I'm taking the exam. I can
Right,
only look at it if I'm going to get certified. Like, you use it as a reference guide, dive in, and once you get familiarized, then my question would be, why not get certified if you've constantly looked at it, if you're already got sort of an idea of what the information is and you've been using it, why not? Why not just have it in your back pocket to add value to not only your workmanship, but to future employers, your own career path, your professionalism, for that matter. But once again, don't feel like you can't look at any of this stuff because, you have to get
right,
certified. A
right.
lot of this started for us with just peaking. Okay, we need to learn this. We've learned it. It's like, all right, why not just get the cert? That's sort of how our mentality
Yeah,
built up into a lot of these things. So it's yeah, I definitely agree. Just one more time, out of all those sort of entry level certs that I would take, even if you're just getting into IT in general or just any media in general, I think the CPCT would be the my most favorable one to recommend.
yeah. If particularly if you're in telecommunications.
Yeah.
Now, if you're in a kind of enterprise environment, um, chances are you're going to outsource that type of work to a contractor to run your structured cabling and do all that work. But yeah, it's helpful to know, because even if you're going to be managing, like your telecom closets, on each floor of a multi-level office building, right? You're going to be at some level managing racks of equipment, cabling, possibly between floors. Thinking about like your MDF, your IDF topology, and if you're in a campus environment, even more so, because you're going to have cabling or wireless links between buildings, and then where do you go from there? Those types of considerations. Um, if I think at one point here, let me see, make sure I get oriented. Got to share a different tab. Yeah, here we go. So this URL here is kind of the summary of the CPCT, and certifications for designers, installers, and operators of premises cabling, which refers to building and campus cabling, generally customer owned, and that's an important designation. So if you are an enterprise, it will be customer owned. It will be local to your organization, used for LANs, security systems. That's another one. If you're running CCTV, alarm systems, things like that, smart building management systems, wireless or distributed antenna systems. These are fundamental skills that you're going to want to have there. So,
Yeah.
and in
Shoot.
fact,
I was going to say, we talk a lot about the individual and adding value to yourself, but as a supervisor, management, owner of an organization, if you have technicians or people in these roles,
yeah,
this is a great thing to help them sort of review, not only to progress themselves, but to keep that in-house. I'm
right.
big on in-house things. If you're outsourcing, spending tens of thousands of dollars on, whatever it is, when you could, teach it or train it at, in-house, have your employees, pay them well for,
Yep.
for their new skill.
Reward their effort.
Yeah, but it's keep it in house. You'll be able to do a lot more. At least from my understanding. It's 8 years now in the industry.
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, it's not only for the individual as an organization to give these to your technicians or to your employees to have a better skill set or workmanship from your employees. It's definitely recommended as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, uh, I think we need to belabor the point. Go
Yeah,
out,
yeah, we sort of
at least get the book. Watch some of the FOA videos, and at the very least, get uh, the self study. Do the self study course. You can get a certificate of completion, and you'll just be, you'll be better off if you are a technician. If you want to become a technician, even before you get your first job, you can get this uh, the uh, the certificate of completion for the self study to show that you've got the initiative, you got the drive to become, a skilled technician, and that will set you up for the next level, what you want to do. Now, it is not the be all end all of premises cabling. There are definitely advanced certs if you want to get into deep into becoming a technician. Bixby, of course, obviously has a number of technicians. They have, they actually go through 3 levels. There's the copper technician, the fiber technician, and then there's copper installer is the term that we
installer
use
ones.
now. The fiber installer, and then the technician certification. So that's a 3 cert program. From there, in my situation in Irving as well, we're working towards our RCDDs, which is kind of like the uh, probably the most comprehensive and well recognized certification for distribution design as a whole. That covers a lot of different things, a lot of fiber too. Like actually, about halfway through, and I got to a portion where they were talking about the passive optical LANs, even in the TDMM manual. And I was like, oh man, like this is exciting. Like this is the kind of stuff that I'm looking forward to doing.
Nice.
So, but having the foundation of the CPCT, yeah, just made all of those more advanced certs just much more accessible
Yeah.
once you have the fundamentals down.
Yeah, we're all about building a foundation, you know, a solid foundation on solid knowledge, that's also very accessible to any individual, whether you're in the industry now or looking to get into it. Like Aaron said, you don't have to have the job, to
No.
obtain these. You can get these, or at least a study one portion of it to show that initiative. And yeah, we're going to be talking at least about one more FOA cert in a future video, the CFOS/T for the fiber testing, fiber optic testing
Yes.
specialist, which is, it's a big one for us, especially if you're working with fiber. This is,
Yes.
fiber intensive. But at the
And
same
I
time,
would say, if I may, like those three, in my opinion, are essential. Because if you get the premises cabling, the fiber technician, and then the testing cert, like you're in great shape. Like
covered.
you yes.
You're covered on a lot of areas. And just with that, you'll have just hard knowledge on what you should be doing from top down.
Yeah.
Your craftsmanship, your workmanship at that point
Yeah.
will be, I'll say, pristine, pretty up there. It'll be, you'll be covered. You'll be covered.
You will be heads, head above the rest, because
Yes, most definitely.
There are a lot of technicians that have been in the field, have done good work for years and years, but just have not had that kind of formal education on these topics, particularly on the testing. The testing is one of the most, I'd say, rare qualities for many technicians.
Yeah. And you'd think it'd be a universal
Yeah.
quality, because don't matter how nice you install it on the outside plant, the inside plant, how many terminations, if those ferrule ends is dirty, or something happens, a crack, and you can't test it properly, you will be chasing your tail nonstop. And the testing one covers so much, but we'll get into that in a different video, next video.
That episode is going to be nice and lengthy, because, and we'll talk about it more, but it opened our eyes up to just how much more exists beyond, just these particular, courses, right? These certifications. It's just like, oh my God, there's a whole world beyond this. And and
the iceberg, man. Definitely the iceberg. Just the tip of the iceberg. But just a reminder, guys, this is a growing channel, so any comments, questions, likes, dislikes that you think, we should do better, not do this, add on to this, or you just want, a topic that you guys would love to see us talk about. We'd love the feedback. Yeah, and the guests, if any guests wanted to come up and talk to us, that'd be great too. We'd love to learn from you, and you learn from us. This is all a learning platform. We are super excited to get into a lot of the other things that we have planned out. The routing lab that Aaron's been working on, some additions to the fiber optic lab, hopefully in the near future. I'm going to be going over a lot of security things, just helpful tips on information security to keep you safe, your system safe, hopefully, and just inform you guys a little more on what it is that you should be looking out for. As well as my CCNA, I'm not sure. I have so much going on, guys. It's
So let's just real quick. So this year, your goal is S plus, right?
Yep, S plus. Well, I have 4 months left to the end of the year, and this is the goal. It's the S plus, A plus Core 1, A plus Core 2, my CCNA, and then maybe if I have the time, I can sprinkle in a little more Linux for myself. And yeah, those are the goals for my fall and winter. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be all celebrating those beautiful certs. But that also goes hand in hand on what my job functionality is going to be into the future. So, like we always say, if you got tasks, and you can build up your knowledge and get certified for it. Why not do it? Just knock it out the park.
Absolutely.
But you, sir, are you still planning on taking your RCDD?
I don't want to commit.
Okay. All right. That's a
But I
big
will
chunk.
continue studying it. I mean, it is a beast. Irving has the telecommunications distribution
Oh, yeah.
design manual, and
This is one volume. One volume.
it's 2 volumes. I think it's like 3,000 pages. I don't even like to think about how many pages it is at this point. So I'm about halfway through, and my goal was, so I finished my Dixie DC data center design consultant. Finished that early this spring, so that was a big goal for me this year. But then I jumped deep into routing switching now. So I'm working on my third Juniper certification, the JNCIS, the service provider, one for route switch specialist. So I definitely want to finish that one this year. If I can get through the RCDD, that would be excellent as well. But like I said, my focus right now is deep into particularly WAN routing, as well as some other stuff. BGP is
The BGP, the 3-letter. So we call it the 3-letter. We don't want to.
Glorious BGP. I saw that T-shirt. It was cracking up. That is what it is. So I'm deep in the route switch stuff, and I have a ton of labs on those concepts. I've actually developed already just so I can learn, but Irving and I are talking about starting up concept of live labbing. We're actually working through this stuff ourselves. It's not so much like a polished video or anything, but we're there, we're streaming, we're trying to figure this stuff out. If you want to jump in, you want to watch, maybe give us some tips, and then hopefully we can refine that into some actual more polished content once we figure it out, and can share it back to the community would be awesome. So that's pretty much all else I can handle. Last year was a really heavy year for cert stuff, and so I'm trying to be a little more realistic this year.
Yeah, I'm sort of
figuring out the new job and everything. So
yeah, very true, very true. I have to learn some moderation. I'm still in school. I'm self-studying a lot outside of work, and working full time, which you can do it. Don't be discouraged. I'm doing it. You can do it.
Okay, 15 minutes a day, man. You don't have to get a chapter in every day. You can get 4 pages, and
it goes a long way. And a lot of it too, like don't feel like it just has to be the book.
Right.
So read a couple pages, watch a YouTube video, look up that same topic and watch a video, or listen to an audiobook on a similar topic, or just how-to videos, which are super, super helpful as well. So it's a nonstop learning experience for us. Life is about learning, and I don't know when I'm going to stop, but never.
Maybe when we retire.
When we retire, hopefully. I'm pretty sure they're still going to call us and ask for help, but but once again, guys, if you guys haven't yet commented or just let us know if we're doing a good job or not. It's our third video. We've had a hiccup, at least with the hiatus and personal stuff getting in, but we're back on track. We would want to at least get on a schedule of once a month. I know we talked about once every 2 weeks, at least with the podcast once a month. We're going to try to, fill in with a lot more content and with different subjects and topics over that time. But at least with the podcast once a month, where it gives us enough time to get it out to you guys and polish it up just right. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else for today?
I don't think so.
This is more like a welcome back.
It's more of we're back on track. We're committed to the long haul with this show, and we just wanted to say, I think as of today, we're 200 subscribers to the channel.
That's right.
Which is amazing. Thank you all
Thank you guys.
so much. We never imagined we'd get to 100, get 200. I think part of our challenge was just like we scaled up much faster than we thought this thing ever would actually take off. So please continue to spread the word, and
Yeah,
just grateful for your support. It really
beyond
helps.
grateful for the support, the views, the comments, the likes, you know, just the feedback in general. Like we're doing this out of just the passion that we have for, telecom and as well as teaching.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're just introducing, this craft to people that have never experienced it before, weren't exposed to it, and find a love and passion like the same way we have for it, and can sort of follow our track to trying to be successful. It's all a work in progress.
Always.
Always. But thank you guys so much for everything that you guys continue to do. If you haven't yet and you're watching this video for the very first time and you've liked what you saw, please like, subscribe, comment, and yeah, tune in. We'll hopefully bring episode 4 to you very soon, and you make sure you have a look out for any of our other content that should be dropping hopefully in the near future. We don't have a timetable for anything right now.
Well, I think I can confidently say that the lab website will go live this week. Yeah, so
you heard it here first. He said it. Keep him accountable.
I'm publicly accountable at this point. So please, light me up on LinkedIn or YouTube, whatever, if it doesn't. But very excited. We're developing an entire website to host our lab documentation for the things that we do. That'll include fiber lab material, network labs, server labs, security labs, probably 1 or 2 more things thrown in there. Yeah, so the idea there was that we capture the work that we do when we're labbing on our own on the side, turn that into documentation that we can actually then share, and then you can go through those same steps down to the command lines or whatever, the tools and stuff that you need to do the stuff, and make that available. So it's still very basic, but I just want to get it out there, right?
Yeah.
This is we're learning in public. I read an article recently about that, and and it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing. It's good for both sides, because we know a lot, we've been through a lot, but we're by no means experts in anything, and so we're growing along with you as a community, and that will always be the case. And if there are mistakes that we make in our labs, in the content, it's actually, the entire site is open source in a sense. It's on GitHub. It's what's called a static site, but it renders out into the website. And so I'd like to get to the point where you could actually submit GitHub issues to request like a topic or something, we kind of put it on our timeline. So,
yeah,
lots of plans there, but let's just get the darn site up.
Yeah, let's get the site up and a couple of videos out.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I got quite a bit to get the fundamentals of some network engineering stuff up with Proxmox, iOS, Linux, and our blog is actually going to be on there too, by the way. So there's a couple articles that will be packaged in the first release of that as well. So
keep the eye out.
There we go.
There it is. And we would love to hear what you guys are working on as well. If you guys got home labs, cert studies, self-study,
send us pictures, send us blog posts, whatever.
We would love to talk about it. Absolutely love.
Maybe even we can just share it in an episode. Take a quick look at it.
Yeah. Be a guest. We'll share your lab. How about that?
Right.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining our Fiber Nerds podcast, episode 3. I am your co-host, Irving Perez, joined by our host, Aaron Lloyd. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great day.
All right.